if you are starting new in Salesforce or you are an experienced one. So we get an idea like how to navigate it through. First of all, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for joining first session of the year of 2024, and I wish you the best in the coming year. All your dreams come true. Be healthy, be successful. With that note, we can start. Make sure you post on Twitter because community engagement. That's how people get to know that session is going on Get Started as a Business Analyst. Make sure you post something about that and what you are learning today. Was it helpful? And if you want, you can tag us and Salesforce Developer Kanyakumari group as well. A quick introduction. I'm a Salesforce marketing champion and a consultant at Prices. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter if you have any queries after the session. So, the agenda for today is like we will be starting with understanding the role of a business analyst. Then we will talk about the importance of a business analyst in Salesforce ecosystem. Then, if you want to transition from business analysis to Salesforce ecosystem, then the essential Salesforce knowledge that is required all over, and then the tools and resources that are required to be a Salesforce PA. And then we will talk about some real world examples and use cases, and so that we get a good idea what exactly a Salesforce PA does, some tips for success, and the next steps. So I would ask everybody to put in chat like what do you understand from the term like business analyst, what exactly they do. Okay, I'll check your responses in a while. All right. First of all, like what is the sorry, understanding the role. So the initial understanding when you hear the word like business analyst, it comes with two words. Like you have a business, then you are an analyst. So you are analyzing the business in an order to improve it, improve the efficiency of the business, make a good outcome. So a definition that I have found is that a BA is an admin that is empowered to ask why on a deeper level. So let's take an example. If you are in the Salesforce ecosystem, we all are aware about the Sales Cloud. Okay, and let's just say that Nike. Okay, let's take an example of Nike. Nike wants to implement their business process in the Sales Cloud. Okay, so on every point when they tell you the requirement, okay, I want the leads from there are stores. Okay, you can also buy online. You can also call Nike, place an order. So this all comes down to the system that you ask the why question. Okay, you will ask Nike why. Why do you want the leads to come from this particular source? Why do you want leads to come from this source? Is it feasible? Then once you ask the why, they answer you the question. Okay, this is why. Then you ask the client like how do you want it to be in the Salesforce, in the Sales Cloud. Okay, and this is where your solutioning comes as why and how. These are the like two main questions VBAs have to ask at every requirement gathering session. Why do you want this and how do you want this? And with these two questions, the answers that we get, it solves the question, the goal that we want to achieve through the implementation. And these are like the two main, I would say, the pillars being a BA. Like you have to ask why do you want this and how do you want it to happen, because when you ask the how question, that is when you are considering yourself as the user. Okay, you are buying a Nike shoes, so imagine you are the user. how are how many ways are there you can buy the shoes? That's why you ask the how question. All right. So some roles that I have identified, like you have to plan, you have to do gap analysis, you have to do requirement gathering, find multiple solutions, define the scope using optimum solution. You got a requirement, you are aware about the technological stack, then you have to present the client, okay, this solution can be done this way. Imagine you are building a 4 BHK house, okay, and you have a limited land and limited budget. It's your analysis that will decide in what time frame and under that budget constraint you can complete that work. Okay, fulfilling all the requirements. You want 3 rooms, 4 rooms, multiple bathrooms, a hall, kitchen. That's how you perform your analysis. You ask the how and the why question. Okay, and a BA role also includes like so you have to do documentation every time you perform requirement gathering. You have to prepare that documentation so that everything is noted down. There is nothing you missed, because at some point once you got the requirements, you have to provide these requirements to your technical team. Okay, so this is typically being a bridge between your client and your company. Okay, so you consider yourself, you are the translator. Okay, client is coming up, client is telling you, okay, I want this and that, I want this business process, how it should be implemented. You are the person who is aware about the technical stack, you know how Salesforce works, and then you present them a optimum solution. Okay, for Nike, for example, if you guys are aware about lead management, opportunity management, you can, suggest Nike, okay, there are ways, there are lead assignment rules that I can put, there are lead sources that I can put, and this is how it would be an optimum solution for you. Okay, so just an overview. Consider yourself as a translator. If you are planning to be a BA, you should have that good communication skills so that you can understand the requirement from the clients and then deliver it to your developers on your company side so that they can get it implemented. Perfect. With that, it's a quick overview about the role, how the business analyst role works typically, and it works in every tech stack similar way. Okay, it's just that you have to have that platform knowledge or the tech stack you are working on. In our case today, we will be talking about Salesforce. All right. So, with that, what is the importance of business analyst in a Salesforce ecosystem? So, like I mentioned, you are a bridge, you are a translator. So, a client is always a person who is running a business. They are not aware about the Salesforce. Okay. They don't know how lead management works. They don't know what Salesforce actually is. First time you are explaining to a client that Salesforce is a CRM, you have to choose your words wisely because clients sometimes are not aware about the technical jargons. Okay, you can say like lead management, opportunity management, but your client might not know what is actually the lead management is. Okay, so you have to explain them in a very simple language, and that is where you have to be the bridge between the business and the technology. It's like explaining a kid about I would say Salesforce. What simple language you can use. So in this manner, you have to have that perspective in your mind. Similarly, requirement gathering and analysis. So we as a BA are important, and this is where our most of the work is required. Is when requirement gathering and analysis. It is all about, for example, Nike is coming up to you, and then they are sharing your requirements. They have leads, then they have warehouses as well. Okay, then they have shoes, multiple sizes. You have to manage their products, price books, and products and price books are different based on different countries as well. These all things, you have to keep in mind when it comes to the requirement gathering, and then analysis. So, whenever I say Nike, the first name pops as might be Adidas or some other shoe company you can think about. So you can take a reference. Whenever you perform an analysis, you look for something which has been similar or which kind of have a similar, business process. So you get an inspiration. Okay. And the more analysis you perform, the better optimum solution you end up with. And whenever you go to your client and you tell them, okay, I perform my analysis, and you suggest something from your side. Okay, I think your business can be improved if we, include some automation. In automation, like if somebody places an order online, it could be automatic, automated, and all the emails that are required to be sent, your orders has been placed, all the updates like we get on Amazon orders, on the email that your order is in transit, in progress, it has left the warehouse. Simply you can automate all these processes, and when you suggest this to a client, you know they are happy. They take it seriously that okay, this person is really paying attention to our business. Our work is also paying attention to detail. Okay, remember that. Then we have process optimization and design. You have to optimize the process. Like I mentioned, you can automate certain things, you can improve the design. Then you have system customization and configuration. A BA has to understand the current system that the current business Nike is using, first of all, and then transform it in such a way that it is more feasible and improved and efficient when it is implemented in Salesforce. Then you have data modeling and management. Yes, as a BA, you have to perform data modeling. You have to sit with your developers and architect and the client stakeholders as well to understand what data model you are using. And in this case, for example, you can take like data model like India has certain shoes, then India has certain sizes. So you have seen there are there are UK size, there are US sizes. So you see, that is the difference. How do you manage it? You have country management, then you have state management if your shoes are based on states. Okay, this is how typically the data modeling and management works. Then you have user training and adoption. Okay, so earlier I mentioned that your stakeholder is new to Salesforce. Okay, and I think it's time then when you implement the solution for your clients on Salesforce, you also have to provide them training. Okay, you have to train them how to use the Salesforce, whereabouts of Salesforce, and it's good if you put some terminologies of Salesforce as well, so that they get knowledge, and once they acquire this knowledge, they are good to go. And anything comes up, they can simply shoot you an email. And as a BA, if you keep that user training and adoption, fluent, it creates a good relation in client. That's a tip for you guys. You care about your customer, the customer will care about you as well. That's how it works. Then we have quality assurance and testing. Since you are the part of a business from starting, okay, client has an idea, you are the first person he is talking to, and then you will convey that idea to your developer team at your organization. So you are there since the beginning and you will be there till the end. That is where you have to make sure that quality is assured, and also you have to take care of the testing part as well, because the stakeholder is telling you that user journey is like they are buying from store. I want you to send them offers so that they can come to store again. So I'll test it. I'll go to a store, buy it, if they are sending me email or not, if my records are generated or not. You must have noticed whenever you buy something from a showroom, they take your phone number or either they take your email. So there are two ways: either they send you an email or they send you an SMS. Okay, you have to test it all at your point, because you have to consider yourself a user while you are implementing the solution. Okay, and as a BA, it's important that we do continuous improvement. Okay, because our job is to stay updated, perform analysis. So after a month you come up with an idea, okay, this can be improved. You can shoot an email to your client, okay, this can be improved at your stage, and this might bring more business and save more time. That's good. Move on with that. Okay, that's how you do with the continuous improvement. But for the continuous improvement, you should be updated about the trends that are going into the market. So always stay on the hunt for knowledge. Then project management and collaboration. Yes, that is right. As a BA, we also have to manage projects and collaborate with multiple stakeholders, multiple teams, and also your project managers. Okay. Then there is reporting and analytics. Yes, a BA also has to do reporting and analytics. And reporting and analytics may include like what progress you are making, is your business is running good, what are the analytics after the solution that has been implemented in Salesforce, is it good going or there is something which is lacking behind. Okay, like that. Then you have the change management. Suddenly Nike realized that you want to put up a change in the process. So how do you want to encounter that change? Okay, how much time will it take, is it under the timeline or not? This is how the change management process will take, and it is important for us people, because we are the analyst. We have to analyze how much time it will take, will it affect the business, or will it affect the cost, budget might go overboard. We have to think about it all. Then you have compliance and government governance. Okay, this part comes when you are implementing a solution which is based on multiple countries, you would say. There are some GDPR constraints. GDPR is nothing, some rules and restrictions that has been implemented globally for certain countries, that uh, for the data security purposes. So you have to be aware about those compliance and governance. And if you are not aware about that, you can always ask your client, okay, does your business include any compliance, any governance? Okay, and then the most important part, the strategic alignment. You have to create that strategy once the client comes to you. You have to understand those requirements, create that strategy plan. Okay, how do you want to encounter it, align it with the requirements of your stakeholder, and present it to them. Whenever you present a plan to anybody, I would say, I mean anybody, if you present a plan, first they get happy, second they understand that okay, you are an organized person, you are planning everything before you approach it. Okay, that's a tip. You plan before you approach it. All right, this was the like importance of business analysts in Salesforce ecosystem. So you can see there is an importance, okay? And we cannot replace these things with AI. I hope you all agree with me on that. Next up, so for example, if you are already a business analyst, considering that you are working in some other tech stack and you want to move into the Salesforce ecosystem, okay? So what skills, what points you need to transition? Here are some of them. The transferable skills means that skills you can carry in every tech stack as a BA is that analytical skills, okay, communication skills, and problem solving skills. Okay, you can carry these three skills in every tech stack. And then when I talk about Salesforce, the first and foremost thing is that understanding the Salesforce ecosystem, and that ecosystem includes like CRM fundamentals because Salesforce is a CRM, and then the Salesforce modules. And these modules include, you know, admin, developer, architect parts where the area which you want to focus on. Mostly people focus on the Sales Cloud because it's a building block of most of the Salesforce products. Okay, so you can focus on the area that you want to. You can pursue Marketing Cloud, you can pursue Experience Cloud. It depends on your interest. Okay, you can choose the Salesforce module you want to pursue and get an expertise in that. Okay, but make sure you cover the admin first part first because it is something which is common in every cloud and every implementation you will do in the future. Okay, then acquire the Salesforce terminologies. You know, the terminologies like I mentioned earlier, objects. You know, you have objects, you have page layouts, you have lead management, opportunity, accounts, contacts. These are some terminologies that you have to acquire. For that, you can explore a trailhead and have that object oriented thinking because, you know, in Salesforce, completely works on the object model. Okay. Then you have, you can, learn about configuring Salesforce solution. So whenever you do the Salesforce modules, you will find some projects in there in uh, and in those projects you can get that thinking of configuring Salesforce solution. For example, you want to create some profile roles. Okay, if we take about example of Nike, there must be a director at country level, then there is a manager, then there are workers, so you can create those profile in the Salesforce. How do you configure it? You learn it from uh, you know from the knowledge you gain from the modules. Okay, then the data management. It's a very, very important sector that you have to focus on how the data management works in Salesforce. And then user training and adoption. Yes, you have to, like I mentioned earlier, you have to do the user training and adoption. Project management alignment. Yes, you have to align with multiple stakeholders if there are multiple stakeholders and multiple teams, because sometimes even the client might have a development team and your organization will also have a development team. So you should have that agile approach in your head. How do you want to manage the project overall? Most important is the continuous learning. Okay, never stop learning. Every day, wake up, find something, read about it. And I suggested to everybody I meet that it's good to even scroll the Trailhead mobile application for 30 minutes a day or maybe 10 minutes a day. It's up to you. But in that 10 minutes, that the knowledge that you gain might not be enough for the day. But if you combine it for a month, just talk to me after a month. You'll definitely say that okay, it's just that compounding you have to believe on. Slowly make a progress. Don't stop that continuous learning and stay updated about like what is going on in the market. Okay, and sorry, the last and the foremost is the networking in the Salesforce community. We all are here, we are networking here, we are here to learn together and share knowledge. So you can attend such more events based on your location. Okay, mostly there are virtual events happening around the world, but if there are in-person events as well, go out, give it a chance, meet some people. It would be good to, know more about how Salesforce works, how ecosystem is, working, how people in the ecosystem are there, and what is the best approach you can take. It's more good when you talk to people in person. So leverage these opportunities. Okay. Then the essential Salesforce knowledge. I mentioned earlier, you have to do a complete introduction to Salesforce. And these are for the people who are new to Salesforce. Okay. The people who are already in the Salesforce, I guess you all are aware about these things. So don't worry. You have to, know about CRM, significance of CRM, how CRM is evolving in the current landscape. We must know some competitors like Zoho, but Salesforce has surpassed Zoho in the Gartner charts for like almost 4 years now. So Salesforce is said to be the customer's company because they hear to the customers, and similarly, we people have to take care of these things. Okay, we have to hear, we have to listen to our customers, what they want, how, what improvements they want, because that is when we will evolve by the time. Okay, learn about Salesforce clouds, sales, servicing, service, marketing, community, e-commerce. I mentioned earlier. Find something that excites you, explore it, and get an expertise in that area, and you are good to go. Okay. Then there is analytics and reporting. Yes, it takes an important factor. Integration capabilities. So since it's a CRM, okay, and we all are aware about Flipkart, Amazon, and some vendors who make deliveries. Delivery, you must know about FedEx. Okay, so considering the Nike's example, you should be aware about like if we can integrate FedEx with Salesforce, or if there are any APIs or connectors available. So it all comes down to those integration capabilities. Okay, and don't worry if you don't know about this. You can just simply, client comes up and tells you that okay, I want to integrate FedEx. At that moment, if you can, or after the meeting, you can simply Google it. What is the possibility of integrating FedEx with Salesforce? Is if there are you know ready to connect connectors are available, or we have to use APIs, then you can ask the client like what data do you want to transfer from Salesforce to the FedEx, customer details, phone number, everything. So whenever you receive a parcel, you see a bill on the top. All that data is coming from a CRM. Okay. So you have to explore those integration capabilities, and you should be aware about those. When you are experienced, you eventually learn. But if you are new, you can always search it on Google and find such knowledge and stuff, so that you can present it to client. And after the meeting, shoot out an email to the client. Okay, FedEx integration is possible, can you help me with the fields that are required to share with FedEx from Salesforce? Boom, you are done. Then you have security measures, right? Security plays an important role. How security model works in Salesforce. There are sharing settings, there are profiles, there are roles, there are permission sets, there are permission set groups. Okay, you have to explore all these security measures to convey these to the client. If there is a hierarchy, or if there is a role hierarchy in an organization, you can always pitch the client that okay, do you want it to be managed like roles, profiles? Do you want us to create different profiles for us? Like that. Okay. Then you have Salesforce core model overview. Okay. You know, you have core modules like you could say Sales Cloud, whatever the core modules are there. There are super badges, there are trail mixes that you can initially pick to get the initial understanding about CRM. And this is all for the people who are really new to the ecosystem. Okay. And similarly, once they do the core modules, they can move on to the customization and scalability, how they can customize and scale a business. And then you can learn about the impact on business processes, and also the mobile accessibility. And that's right, you can also create mobile applications from Salesforce. Okay, moving on, tools and resources. Just a quick check, guys. Are we good about like what we have learned so far? Okay, okay, sounds good. Thank you for responses, guys. Means a lot. Thank you for paying attention. So, moving on, we have the next step is the tools and resources. So, imagine you are new, okay? You want to start as a BA. There are some tools and resources resources that you might require to get that head start into the system. Okay, so first and foremost would be the Trailhead. It's a free hub for learning. Okay, I would, if you guys are not aware about Trailhead, just Google it, sign up on it, and uh, and if you really want to learn about Salesforce, it is the best place. You don't have to pay anything. Resources are available on Trailhead and as well as on YouTube. So I'll suggest, start with Trailhead, get that, good understanding about platform, and then you can, start journey with the other tools that are Salesforce Inspector and Workbench. Okay. Then you have Lucid Chart and Visio. Okay. Lucid Chart, the name suggests itself. You create the chart, you create the workflows. Okay. Similarly for the Visio, these are some tools. Then you have Jira and Trello. Jira and Trello, if you might have heard Jira mostly, Jira is a project management tool. Okay. Similarly, Trello is a project management tool. You have to get an understanding of these tools because Nike will need something to track the progress that you are making. So they can do it through Jira or Trello. Then you have draw.io for diagrams. Okay. Figma for wireframes. Wireframes like how the UI will look like. You can create those Figma under the Figma. And Figma also provides us a library where you can find the Salesforce components. So you don't have to take screenshot from Salesforce org. Just find those components from Figma and you can build your own UI. Okay. And it's good if you present a UI to the client because visuals are better than the things you explain verbally always. Okay. Then there are certification resources and forums. Yes, you can join community forums as well. Then there are Salesforce community groups. So we are here as a part of like Kanyakumari group here today. You can also join other groups as well. There are user group, developer group, and we have Naman as the admin group leader as well. So there are multiple groups based on the personas, based on the sector that you want to explore. Okay, you can join these groups as well. Okay, you will get a chance to attend events like this. Then there are Salesforce official documentations. Okay, as a BA, our information should be, I would say, should be precise, and there, there should be no contradictions on what we say. And when I mentioned continuous learning, I mentioned, every year we get a release, we update some features, we update certain things, and these all things once released are shared with an official documentation. So as a BA, we are considered to be the person, like if I say that moon is black, so you have to believe that moon is black. That is the power of the Salesforce official documentation. So we have to be aware about what is going on into the ecosystem so that whenever we pitch to a client, we are 100% confident. Okay. Then there are webinars happening, virtual events. Okay. These are resources that you can explore. It's a webinar and a virtual event that we are in today. And Salesforce officially also organizes some webinars which you can, always go for. Then Salesforce App Exchange, just like we have an app store for our Android and iOS phones. Salesforce also have an app exchange. So like I mentioned, that if you want to integrate FedEx, check that if FedEx has an application on App Exchange, it would be much easier. Simply, whenever an integration comes, check that if that integration is offering any application on App Exchange. And if there is an application on App Exchange, it would be the most feasible solution for the requirement. Okay. And then business analyst blogs. You will find multiple business analyst blogs, how to practice how we should communicate. We should also always have empathy when we are communicating with clients. These blogs are good because they also share some use cases, real life scenarios. Okay, most of the times your client might not be happy from the implementation that you are doing. How to encounter that, how to approach it. This is where you get a good understanding by using business analyst blogs. For that, you can follow people in the ecosystem who are at the topmost of this business analyst blogs. I know one which is Vanessa Grant. I follow her. I read her blogs as well. So always stay on the hunt for the knowledge. so that you learn about new practices that are coming up into the market and also how business is evolving with the timestamps. All right. So, okay, we were not having for this Scrum and Kanban in the agenda, but I kept it so that we get a good idea how we people follow the methodologies when it comes to implementing a project. So we have Scrum and Kanban. Maybe few of you guys might have heard about this, and if you are not, it's okay. Scrum is something we have to focus on courage, openness, commitment, respect. Okay. And at Kanban, we visualize the workflow. Okay. We limit the work in progress, incremental and evolutionary changes. And Kanban includes metrics. Metrics means KPIs. Okay. In Scrum, we have to deliver or demo something every sprint. Okay. We divide the work into sprint and we have to show the client and take the feedback so that team can gather the feedback frequently about the deliverables. All right. So once you gather the feedback about deliverables, you are sure like what implementation have that feedback in you. Okay. What you have to improve with the implementation. What are the new things coming up? And in the Kanban, the work is divided up into the pieces, each written onto a card that is placed on a wall. So we will see some examples of this in the further slides as well. Okay. As a Scrum, you have to continuously improve ourselves in the team and the outcome every day in every sprint. Okay. Teams place limitations on how many work items are in progress. So in the Kanban, we decide, okay, these are the work items we will take for a week and not more than that. And if they hit a limit, they help each other out by tackling things as a team to unlock them. Okay. Similarly, in the Scrum, we have assemble a competent team and let the team make all decisions. Okay, no individual decisions. Team is making all the decisions. Unlike Scrum, which is a process that calls for far-reaching shifts in the work process, Kanban lets the team embrace smaller and more changes along the way. Okay, you can pick smaller items like creating a login page, then creating a login button. Just divide it and break that into the smaller items so that you can move the cards easily. In this Scrum, you will appoint one person to track and ensure barriers are removed and appoint one person to set the work agendas and prioritize project. The one person to track and ensures barriers are removed could be the project manager, and the one person to set the work agendas could be the business analyst, okay, for team, so that the team is focused on what is important. Similarly, in the Kanban, there are a few measurements like lead time, which is average time to complete one item, sometimes called cycle time, and this helps team optimize the process to make lead time as small and predictable as possible. The throughput is that defined as the amount of work completed in a single period of time. Okay, just an overview about the methodologies. It's up to us how we decide to approach the project. Should we pick the Scrum or should we pick the Kanban? Okay, it's up to us. How do we want to encounter it? A pictorial representation like how exactly the Scrum process works. Okay, so the first stage is whenever you take the requirements, you break those requirements into tasks, and then based on these tasks you create a sprint backlog. And a sprint backlog is nothing. Okay, if we take example about Nike that we mentioned earlier, for example, we took the lead management process as the first sprint, which will go for like 2 to 4 weeks. So all the task that comes under the lead management, like okay, you are taking leads from multiple sources. If do you want a lead assignment rule, how do you want to encounter the leads? Okay, what information do you require for your leads? All these things we divide them into the task and then we put them into a sprint backlog. Okay, the next step is that we plan it. How do we want to approach it? How much time will it take? It will take 2 to 4 weeks. It's up to us. Okay, and the minimum sprint is around 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, then you implement it. You performed implementation, then on so you are managing the sprint backlog planning on Jira. Imagine this. Okay, so your client is also having an overview like which task you are picking up, what is the priority item. Okay, so they get an overview through that project management tool. Then you implement it, get it reviewed, And if there are any feedbacks, then put them in the retrospect. And once it is done, and definition of done is when that client agrees to the requirement. Okay, the task that I wanted to perform is fulfilled. There is a definition of done that we define. Okay, if I want to order a Nike shoes online, I'm able to order it now. Okay, definition of done, sprint closed, task closed. Okay, this is how typically the Scrum process works. And on the left side, you can see there are user stories, product owner, Scrum master. Okay, these are the roles. Okay, user stories is the story that you create based on the task that you have got from your client. Product owner is the person who owns, who is responsible for that implementation, and Scrum master is the person who is arranging the complete team, organizing the work. Okay, and keeping the client in the loop about the implementation, how everything is going. Scrum master is, has to be the person in charge. He's like the security guard with a stick and a light. He has to manage everyone, align everyone all together so that we get the best out of the implementation. Okay, this is typically the Scrum process. And now for the Kanban process, like I mentioned, you have cards, you know flashcards, simply. Okay, so you see there are stages we have on the top: ready, in progress, blocked, ready for review, done. As a BA, we decide which approach we have to take. We have to take Scrum or Kanban. Okay, then on the Kanban, you can put these metrics, that is ready, in progress, blocked, based on the project you are tackling. Okay, and then simply you can create those cards. Cards are nothing the same user stories that we talked earlier. Okay, similarly, just take the cards, then you see that card has been moved to the dev environment. Okay, now developer is implementing it, then it is moved into the testing part. Okay, so this is how typically we approach. And if there is something we need more clarity on, or there is a blocker that we cannot implement it, you can put it into the blocked stage. Here we can add comments and see what we need to rectify it. And once dev and testing is completed, you can put it in ready for review. Client can review it. Okay, and once client is happy, okay, it's good to go, then they can move it to the done. Typically, this is how we business analysts encounter projects, and then we decide like how do we want to follow it through, either using it by Scrum or Kanban process. Okay, and these typically work in Salesforce. We use just these two processes. Okay, and if we explore deep dive more into this, it's a very huge sector to talk about. Okay, just an overview about the methodologies that we use. Okay, are we good with the methodologies, guys? Just yes from your side would be good. Perfect. Thank you, Mayur. Thank you, Hari. Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you, Rajdeep. Thank you for your feedback. All right. So, okay, where was I? Oh, my bad. Sorry. Yeah. Next up, we will talk about some real world examples and use cases. So, if you focus on the picture, you see there are so many people around the business analyst. So many people that you have to talk to, you have to manage. Okay, let's take a real world example. We were talking so much about Nike earlier. So, first of all, uh, you know, project sponsor. Let's take a role. Okay, follow me on this story. Okay, project sponsor is Nike. So Nike comes to you. Okay, you are the business analyst, and Nike explains to you the requirements that okay, we all are aware about the Nike's business process, and now they wanted to implement in Salesforce. Okay, so they are conveying the requirements, right? And as a BA, we have to document all the requirements. And while we are doing the requirements, remember I mentioned in the first slide, you have to ask the why and the how question. To be one of the best BAs, you have to be on the top of the game. Like ask why do you want it and how do you want it. All right. Once you get those requirements, okay, you created a document of the requirements. You divide those requirements into tasks. Okay. Then you sit down with your software developer team. Okay, where you where you explain them functional and the non-functional requirements, so that software developers will tell you, okay, this is the requirement, this is how we can tackle it, this is the requirement, this is how we can tackle it, and this is the time frame it will take. Okay, similarly, we have like functional and non-functional requirement comes to the texting part as well. For the testers also, we have to explain them, okay, this is functional, as a user you have to do this functionality, and this is non-functional, this will happen automatically, so you should test it as well. Okay, then there is a person who is watching everything from the top, that is the project manager. Okay, we have to convey the scope and the status of the project to our project managers, so that they can keep an eye that everything is aligned in the timeline and budget constraints. Okay, so you have to share those documents, you have to create that project plan, okay, how I am planning to implement it, this is the time frame it will take. We have to keep the stakeholders and the project manager in the loop about everything that is going on in your project. Okay, then you have the business user. Okay, who is the user? We all are the user. Okay, whenever you are taking requirements, okay, you have the requirements noted down, but whenever you are writing the user stories, by the name it signifies that it is something which is completely focused on the user's perspective. So put yourself in the user's shoes and then think, how do you want to approach it? Okay, I go into the Nike's website as a user. Firstly, I'll get an option to log in. Okay, or the second option I will have is to browse the website as a guest, right? So this is how you identify those user stories and explain them, so that those user stories will move to the developers, and developers will get an idea. Okay, as a business user, I will be able to go to the website, I will be able to either have an option to create an account, log in, or I can browse it as a guest user. Okay, but whenever you place an order, you always have to log in, right? That is also a requirement. Okay, this is how you encounter, you just put yourself in the user's shoes and you explore the requirements. Okay, whenever you need some functionalities, and there you identify what is the functional part, what is the non-functional part. Okay, and imagine if Nike also have some other stakeholders, or they have some other teams as well who is coordinating with your team during this implementation. Okay, then you have to manage the expectations and constraint of those other stakeholders as well. Okay, our first priority should be that the stakeholders are aware about what is happening and they are happy. Okay, and if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to any stakeholders. Okay, have that empathetical message. Okay, it was a great conversation talking to you. We had some questions on this particular section, like how do you want to deliver the shoes to the person's house? Would you be using any delivery partners, or is it like on the house, Nike is using their own services? So you can always reach out and understand those requirements. So this is typically an real world example or a use case if I talk about. And just in your mind, in your head, just think about other businesses. For let's just say, if you talk about Starbucks, Starbucks is also using Salesforce. If you talk about McDonald's, McDonald's is also using Salesforce. Just think about it, like how Salesforce could be leveraged by McDonald's, how user encounters the McDonald's. Okay, we go to the we just go to the counter, we order some stuff. Okay, we get it back, we get a bill, that data goes into the system. Okay, you also have that McDonald's mobile application, and that mobile application data goes into their CRM, so that they can identify what are your favorite edible products. Are you more of a fan of a iced tea or of a cold coffee? See, and further, this is how you do the marketing. Okay, just think about it, most of the business around you are using Salesforce somewhere. All right, that was a like a real world example and a use case. I hope like it opens up your mind how broad it can get when it comes to thinking as a user. Okay, next, okay, you must be curious about documentations. There are lots of documentations. Okay, it's just that It should be one of our skills actually to document everything, because sometimes your developer or your stakeholder might come up to you, okay, bro, BA, I already told you this requirement earlier. Why is it not in the document? Then you will think, yes, it was told in the meeting earlier, but I forgot to, document it. It might cause a problem at some point. You know, if you are dealing with projects which are tight on timeline and also on the budget, and they have very specific requirements, make sure you note everything down. There has been instances when client or the developers might reach out to you. Okay, I need more clarity on this task. Client gave the clarity, but you forgot to document it. Okay, some documents you might you might be aware about, like use cases. There are user stories. You have to create a business analysis plan, current state analysis, gap analysis document, system requirement specifications, scope statement specifications, wireframes and visual documentation. Okay, you have to create wireframes as well. Then business analyst, documentation. There are a lot of things. Okay, and I would recommend you to be good at like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Presentation, Excel. Then because these are certain, just be good at the Microsoft Office. Okay, we might have to document a lot of things during project implementation cycle. Okay, so make sure you have that knowledge, you are up and running, and make sure you document everything. There has been instances in the practical scenario, and if I talk about my personal experience, there has been some instances when you miss some requirements and client is chasing you. Okay, why this has not been done, but you never documented it. So how it can be done? Huh? You never documented it. It will not go to the developer. It will not go to the developer. Nobody will implement it. Nobody will test it. It will just go. It will vanish. So make sure you pay attention and document everything. Just a quick, you will find much more documentation if you look on the Google, but some certain documentation which are common, these are here on the screen. Then, okay, if you, I kept this slide from my previous presentation. If you guys have some doubts, like what is the difference between a Salesforce admin or a business analyst, okay, you can check out this slide. Admins set up the Salesforce org, set up the users, configure security access settings. Okay, you can have a read on the left side. Similarly, on the right side, the business analyst, we have to elicit and the document requirements. See, the first most priority is elicit and document requirements. Okay, then you have develop and define project roadmap. Roadmap is nothing. You have to identify how much time will it takes to complete a certain implementation scenarios. All right. Then you have write user stories. Okay, yes, user stories is your part. You have to write fabulous user stories so that developer understands what exactly user is looking for from this implementation. Okay, communicate with managers and stakeholders, analyze data, draw business insights, facilitate business solution. Facilitate means you have to be the organizers of the meetings. Okay, you have to be the bridge, the translator that we mentioned in the first slide. Your developers, your company will sit behind you. You are facing the client, you are a translator. Okay, you have to facilitate everything that goes into the meetings. Then you have to manage Salesforce projects, create and deliver business presentations. So be good at PPT. It's good to show visuals rather than explaining verbally. Okay, manage, analyze Salesforce implementation, apply frameworks and methodology to Salesforce projects. We saw frameworks and methodologies earlier. Create user training materials, right? When you are implementing Salesforce or Nike, the Nike employees might not be aware about how Salesforce works. So create a documentation. Okay, this is lead management. The leads will come here. You can, work on the leads on this side. Then you have solve issues during testing. Okay, that's your part. Then understand the current business process and document processes in development. At at each stage of development, you have to document the process. Okay, so you can get an idea about like what is the difference between an admin and a business analyst. I thought to keep this slide because it might be a question in your heads like, is it same? Is it different? Okay. Similarly, some key qualities, some required skills. Okay. Admin should have communication skills. Business analysts should also have the communication skills, but with that, leadership skills as well. And because admin might communicate with stakeholders at some point, but business analyst has always have to communicate to the stakeholders. Okay. Then you should have the project management skills. Yes. Keep on the track, moving forward, achieve those business goals, have that clear picture in mind. Key qualities, if I talk about, admin should be empathetic, confident, and encouraging, and business analyst should be data driven. Okay, track and evaluate the data to provide insights back to the business. Action oriented. Okay, you got the requirement, make a user story, make an actionable plan, just send it to the developers. And if there is something which is already going on into the market, analyze it. If it is better than your current solution, suggest it to the client and implement it best. Solution oriented. Okay, so it's a mindset that is expected from a BA. Hear me out, that whenever you get the requirements from a client, in our head in our head, we should somewhere should be processing a solution already. Okay, client is talking about lead management, lead is coming from multiple sources, you should already be solutioning in your head. Okay, this can be done this through. Okay, we can use the lead assignment rules. Okay, we can create multiple sources, we can create forms to get lead, we can create surveys as well if you want to have the feedback. So while you are listening, you're also solutioning in your head, and that's when you ask the why question, the how question, because you will have that. Okay, why exactly do you want a survey after delivery? Why, how do you want the survey to be? Should it be in the email, click it and just send it, or should it pop up a form where we take certain details? See, this is how you approach the solution oriented mindset. Okay, some common misconceptions, right? Some questions that you might have in your heads right now, that Salesforce business analyst needs to be super technical. No, as long as you have the basic understanding of the Salesforce platform and keep up with the platform changes, that continuous learning loop, and have enough knowledge to understand the platform capabilities and limitations. Okay, the technical Salesforce stuff is done by Salesforce admin. So you see, you have to be aware about the limitations, capabilities, how beyond what, how scalable it can go, and if there are any roadblocks, as a BA we should be aware about that. The second misconception is like Salesforce business analyst shouldn't do configuration on the platform. You must be thinking like, it's an admin's job. Okay, why business analysts have to do configurations? Well, it's commonly thought that a BA shouldn't do configuration on the platform, but it ups to them. Okay, it's up to each individual. If I am aware about the admin part, I can create user roles, profile permission sets, create knowledge bases in Service Cloud. I can do that. If I am having the bandwidth, I can do certain tasks. If I'm aware about the Salesforce inspector, I can import data. Why do I need admin for something which I'm aware about? Okay, simply. If you are, that's good. If you are not, this is also good. Okay. Then the third misconception is Salesforce business analysts are only needed after a project kicks off. Right. So no. BAs are brought into the Salesforce project from the get-go. So I mentioned from the beginning, you are taking the responsibility. Okay, many think that they are needed only after a project kicks off, but getting that initial understanding of needs and scope of a project is one of the most important pieces. Client comes with a vision, and you are the first person he talks to about his vision, and you are the person who is responsible to make it a reality. Okay, have that mindset in your head, and you will improve a lot of things. Then the last one is Salesforce business analysts are only focused on requirements. Yes, requirement plays the major role. We all agree, but we aren't solely focused on the requirement. Okay, we do much more than that. We manage multiple stakeholders. We communicate, within teams. We have to check after every sprint that how it has been implemented. If there are any roadblocks are there, we have to convey them to the client. Okay, and we have to be the god for the project. Okay, if anything is going wrong in the project, you have to take the responsibility, like why it went wrong, what we missed. So you see, it's not an easy role, but more of a responsible role, I would say. Okay, tips for success. Well, I think you got a good clear understanding like how Salesforce BAs work. It's a Salesforce ecosystem. Just some tips, like have that effective communication. Yes, at some point you might have to talk like 20 people. Okay, and that those 20 people could be your developer team, your stakeholders team. So you see, you always have to be in that communication loop. So have that effective communication. It's good to, it's good these days if you have an effective communication, irrespective of the sector. Okay, then you should have the holistic skill set. Like I mentioned, while you are listening to the requirements, you know what client is talking about, and in your head, you know how this can be solution. Okay, that having that holistic skill set. All right. Then similarly, continuous learning. Don't stop the learning. Follow the forums, apply for updates, receive newsletters, check out the Salesforce news. Yeah, there are so many innovations coming up with the AI. So if you're planning to start as a business analyst, make sure you check them out, because there are certain things which can be improved or automated. It's better to stay yourself updated. Then stakeholder collaboration. Stakeholder is like the person, is the most important person for you, to be honest. He is the person who brought you the business. So make sure that collaboration is smooth and empathetic. Anything that goes wrong into the project, or anything that you should call out to your stakeholder, make sure you call it out. Okay, keep the and if he is happy, then you are happy. Then have that problem solving approach. That's right. Adaptability. Okay, client changes a requirement, client changes certain things, project is getting a complete change. Make sure you are adaptable, adapt that change. Okay, be empathetic. Okay, you convey the client that, okay, if this adaptability is going to cost us some more timeline or a budget constraints, make sure to call it out. Okay, then project documentations. Be on the top of the documentation. I emphasize this a lot to everyone I meet. Be on the top of the documentation, because if you miss a requirement in the documentation, imagine it will never implement it. Imagine you are building a bridge and you missed a pillar. What will happen? Things can get worse. So be on the top of the documentation. And networking, community engagement. We are here to network and engage with community. Do that, meet people. You will learn about best practices that certain people do while they encounter a project, and you can learn from always communicating. So networking and community engagement is the best place to learn. Okay, talk about them, ask questions. Okay, how do you approach certain things? How do you want it to happen? What you did if your client is angry, his client is so much angry on you, how will you encounter it? So that's how networking and community engagement will help you out. With that, we will talk about next steps in a while. So is everything clear to you guys? Just a quick check. That's good. Thank you for the response, guys. Awesome. So the next steps would be, now you must be curious, like how should I get started? Okay. So you can start first of all the Trailhead, the hub for the sales education, all for free. Okay. The second could be Salesforce Business Analyst certification if you want it freshly as a business analyst, and admin certification is no longer a prerequisite for business analyst certification. Okay. Then the third one is the international IIBA guides and the best practices for business analyst. It's an I would say it's an organization, International Institute of a Business Analyst. So you can explore this as well to learn about best practices, how all over the world BAs are working. Then the fourth one is networking. We are here for networking, and with networking you can you can always find new opportunities. Okay, for example, if you come to me, if you ask questions, I'll say like, okay, I have an opening for a BA in my organization. Okay, so it can find you some opportunities as well. Make sure to attend such events, make sure to network in your area, meet Salesforce professionals, reach out to them on LinkedIn, just say hi. The community is so good that they will greet you with respect, and they will answer all your questions with nothing, expecting nothing in return, to be honest. And I've seen it personally. So you can just go out and explore opportunities. Okay, and then there is a Salesforce Business Analyst Summit. You can Google it. It's an only event for and by the Salesforce BAs. Okay, so you can scan this QR if you are you want to get started as a Salesforce Business Analyst. This is a trail mix. You can scan it. You can take a picture of it. All right. I'll stay here for a moment. Okay. All right. Then the second would be Salesforce Business Analyst certification. You can, if you are already into the Salesforce ecosystem and you want to explore the Business Analyst certification, you can scan this QR and it will take you to the Trailheads Trail Mix, which is prepare for your Salesforce Business Analyst certification. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. I hope everybody took a screenshot or you can scan it. Next. Well, it's about the exam that if you decide to take the Salesforce Business Analyst certification, this is a typical overview. It will have 60 questions. Time allotted would be 105 minutes. It's like an hour and a half, more than hour and a half. Then the passing score is 72%. So basically you have to answer 44 questions out of 60 questions. Then the exam fees is around $200 plus applicable taxes. And if you fails your first attempt, you can always retake the exam in the half price. And prerequisite, okay, it was earlier mentioned that prerequisite is Salesforce certified administrative credential, but it is no longer there, so you can ignore it. And these are some important topics if you plan to go for the business analyst certification. Now, if you read these, you will get an idea. Okay, first, user stories. Okay, let's talk about user stories. We saw, we take a requirement, we create stories, we then send them to developers to implement. Then we have user acceptance. Means user acceptance means as a user, if I'm able to perform that task or not. Okay, that is user acceptance criteria. Then customer discovery. So you know discover your customer, you understand their current business process, how their company stands in the current market, how it can be evaluated, improved. You perform that analysis on your end. Okay, then you have collaboration with stakeholders. It's somewhere a major part because stakeholders, I mentioned, stakeholders are the most important persons for you. They brought you the business, so you have to take care of them at every point. Okay, so it occupies like 24% exam. So make sure you explore this section well. And then you have business process mapping. This will include all the all the mappings of the business process. You create a flow, you create a wireframes. How do you identify Nike's process in the Salesforce sales cloud? Do they need service cloud as well? How do you map that process? Okay, this the business process mapping part come. And then there's requirements. Yes, requirement plays an important role. How will you record the requirement? What documents you will create? Okay, and these sections are detailed if you explore the trail mix that I shared earlier. That is prepare for your Salesforce business analyst credentials. You can explore these sections in detail in the trail mix. Okay, still you have some questions, guys. I have answers for you. You can connect with me by scanning this QR and send me a DM. I'm happy to help you at any point of time. Right? I think with that, okay, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. And with that, thank you guys for being such a lovely audience. And I really appreciate your prompt response when I was asking your question. It really means that you were paying attention. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks for the great session and thanks for spending the time with the community. Good. It is very useful for all the trial makers. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. So we can go through some questions. So let me just get a quick scroll into the chat. I'll pick the questions one by one. Um, okay. 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 So I found the first questions. Okay. How can a Salesforce admin also acquire business analyst skills? Are there any reference documents or guidance paths available for this purpose? Yes, I shared the trail mix. Get started as a business analyst. If you are an admin, that's a plus point for you. John, can you mute yourself? There is a lot of background noise.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. So, Vivek, you can follow the trail mix. It's a plus point that you are aware about Salesforce admin part. It's because you already know the platform. All you have to do is understand and explore those skills in the ecosystem, how you can encounter, create documentations, understand the stakeholder collaboration. You know, follow the trail mix that I shared that gets started as a Salesforce business analyst. Okay, Hari has already shared it, I guess. Okay, you can find it, and it's still, if you have any more questions, Vivek, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm good to help. Then, okay, Sami Jen. How can we apply for Salesforce admin certification? I'm a fresher. Sami, you can you need to set up an account on webssr.com in order to apply for a Salesforce admin certification. But before that, you can search on Google that get started as a Salesforce admin or Salesforce admin certification exam preparation. Prepare for a Salesforce admin certification. Okay. Just like I shared a trail mix for business analyst, there is a trail mix for Salesforce admin certification as well. You can pick that up. Okay, as a fresher I would suggest you pick that up so that you can get that admin knowledge acquired initially, and then we can talk about like how you can apply for the exam. Okay, still have any questions, Sami? You can reach out to me. Then next question we have, okay, Swati Upadhyay. Okay, but BA profile mostly depends on domain. So will it work for fresher as it need to get which domain will be advantageous? Well, I mentioned some transferable skills, or I would say the most priority skills for a BA as a fresher. If you want to start, first of all, have that problem solving approach. Improve your communication skill. Be fabulous in your communication skills. Okay, most of the part comes to the communication, to be honest, and the third one is the documentation. All right, then these three are the transferable skills that you can carry out in every domain. But then you have to figure out which domain it is full of advantages. So there are lots of domains you can explore. Even I started as like a web there was like web application BA initially, but then switch at that moment instance my company started working with Salesforce, so I started in the Salesforce tech stack. So it's up to you which stack excites you. If you want to explore Salesforce, because today we were focused on like how to get started as a Salesforce business analyst, so it's up to you which tech stack you want to explore, which domain you want to explore. But as I see Salesforce growing, I would suggest that if you find yourself comfortable while learning Salesforce, it's good. You can explore the Salesforce domain as well. Okay. To that, I think Karthik Ganpati, how to handle when client is angry on BA. That's a good question. Well, it depends, like what exactly went wrong. Okay, first of all, identify the cause, like why client is agree, to be honest. And the most probable cause could be that you missed a requirement and client is asking, where is the field? I told you I want this object, I want this field here, I want this functionality here. So you can simply say that there are two approaches, okay? Uh, be truthful, okay? That I'm sorry, I missed the requirement initially, and I would really appreciate your patience if I'll get it resolved as soon as possible, and I'll share I'll share the you know email with you once this task is completed. Okay, always handle with empathy. Okay, accept your mistake. Don't rush on the client. Okay, it's not my duty to keep track everything. No, don't do it. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I must have missed the requirements. Allow me some time. I'll get it covered as soon as possible. And once it is completed, I'll send you an email and you can, check the functionality at your end. Encounter it in this way. Always have that empathy, okay? Never get angry on your stakeholder because they are giving you business. Okay. You will lose customer. Just don't do it. Then we have one more question from Arpit. Could you please tell us more about how we can use Salesforce mobile application? Well, it's up to you. Okay, there is an option in Salesforce org where you can set up your mobile application. It depends. How do you want to use your application? Okay, if I talk about, like, for example, Salesforce. Oh, sorry, Nike. Nike implemented Salesforce. Okay, and there are some field reps, sales reps that are running on the field. Okay, and they want to go to certain showrooms or shop where they want to introduce a new product. Okay, maybe a shoe cleaner. Nike is introducing a shoe cleaner. Okay, so Nike implemented an application where they created an application in the Salesforce org, and they kept certain objects and fields. Okay, like showroom name, who is the person who owns the showroom, okay, what is the location, and have that map in that application. You can decide and customize your application with the minimal viable usage that are required for your field sales rep. Okay, and if you want to explore more about, like, how to create Salesforce mobile applications, there are trail mixes available, and there is also the app builder certification as well. You can create applications in Salesforce and then you can leverage them on your mobile phones as well. So, you know you can find more resources on YouTube, and there is a complete demo which will show you how to create mobile application. It would be more helpful, or maybe we can have a different session later if you really want to see, like, how we can create a mobile application. Perfect. Okay, next question I have from Rajdeep. It was a thank you, Rashti. How does the real-time scenario to be handled where the requirement provided by the client is having a technical blocker and a dev says it would be difficult to achieve? It was not flaggable during story analysis where the client is awaiting the requirement. How to handle such scenarios? Okay, okay, that's a good question. It is actually a very practical question. It happens. So once we create a user story, our duty is to sit with the developer and let the developer analyze that user story and see what the developer is understanding from that user story. Okay, and if he gets the idea that you are trying to convey from that story, then it's good. Okay, now once the functionality is clear to the developer, now developer says, okay, the functionality is clear but it is difficult to implement. We need certain more information, or there is a blocker that it's not it's there are two scenarios. Okay, it is possible it will take time. The second is it is not possible. In the second scenario, we have to be ready with a what do we call it, a optimum solution, or you will say the best possible solution. If that is not possible, the workaround can be done. Okay, so we have to be sure. If it is taking time, then convey it to the client. First scenario. Okay, okay, but we got the requirement, but there are some technical difficulties that we are finding. And if a client is technical, if you can make client understand what exactly you are trying to convey, you can do it. If not, you can keep it in simple language. This feature requires this feature running in the background, but for this we need some more time so that it can work smoothly. So first scenario is it is taking more time in implementing. Second, second is it was not flagged earlier, and after, okay, in all the scenarios it was not flagged earlier. Okay, we created a sprint, we missed it, we missed the feature. Okay, then the second scenario is like it's not possible. Then convey it to the client. Okay, it is not possible. We are looking for a feasible workaround solution for this, and if we come up with a feasible workaround solution, we will let you know. And make sure you share a timeline with your stakeholder. Like in this time frame, within 3 4 days, within 1 day, within a week, we will come up with an optimal solution. Okay, don't just leave it to the infinity. Make sure, just keep them aware about whatever you are doing. Okay, even if your developer missed some requirement, it's your duty to keep the stakeholder updated. You will be counted as the accountable person, the responsible person, not your developer. Okay, you are the facing person to the client, not your developer team. Okay, then the second question is, how do we land in a Salesforce BA roles? People already working in a Salesforce either as dev or admin face rejections for not having prior BA experience or not able to show experience as a BA. Well, that is true. Developers and admin face rejections because the skills that we talked about in our presentation today, that having fabulous communication skills, documentation skills, stakeholder collaboration, as a developer and admin, we lack that leadership skills, to be honest, because we are not responsible for the project. We are just responsible for a part of a project. We are responsible for a task of a project. Okay, but as a BA we should have that leadership skills, and maybe people are not able to convey that to the interviewer in a way that they understand, okay, this person can handle the clients alone. Okay, because whenever you work as a developer or an admin, there is always a person above you who is managing everything. You have to convey to them and then they will convey to the client. So I would say, in, how you can improve this, just follow that trail mix, get started as a business analyst, and once you do that, a BA, the most important part is that a BA or a PM, you have to be confident. Okay, make them feel that you are the most confident person in the room. Whatever you are saying, you are aware about it. Have that confidence in your voice, and you can do the wonders. Okay, you will not get rejected. Okay, have that mindset of leadership. You know, this is how maybe you can approach the scenario. Okay. Next question I have from Pallavi. As a fresher, how will any BA will be accepted with no real-time experience? Well, yes, there are some, you know, there are some companies which are hiring interns initially, but as a BA, they are preferring more experienced clients. I don't know why. They think that a fresher would take some time to understand how business processes work. So in that scenario, I would say, if you don't even have a real time experience, just be fabulous on your communication skills and BA skills. And whenever you sit down in an interview and you show that confidence, even being a fresher, because I know some people who are, as a fresher they applied and got hired. If you show the person that confidence, they will not spend time. Okay, they'll say, okay, you are good to go, you're good to get hired. Okay, and what's his job responsible and job details, who is the person to approach with no real time experience, what is his responsibilities and job details. It's a simple, we talked about all the job responsibilities of a BA today. You have to be there from the start to the end of a project. You have to make your interviewer or the person, yeah, there must be something, but they start with as like they start Salesforce associate, because they consider whenever you go for an BA interview, they have that perspective in your mind that you already know the platform, already know the admin part of the platform. And this is, you can say, a kind of a prerequisite for everyone, either fresher or an experienced. You should have that admin knowledge even if you are applying for a BA. Okay. Yeah, yes, Lakshmi mentioned it very well. Like, be open to the volunteering or internship roles. Yes, we can always start with an internship, because even, to be honest, guys, even I started as an intern initially. I started as an intern BA. Later on, I learned about Salesforce. Okay, I started as an intern, and it was my, I would say, my curiosity to explore the Salesforce ecosystem, and that's when I got a chance to, go to the community events, attend the webinars that we are doing. One of them today. Just be open to the possibilities and the opportunities, and if you are really curious as a fresher to explore, just make a LinkedIn profile. Okay, search about people, search about Salesforce ecosystem, get that profile ready. you know the more professional you will look on the LinkedIn, it's better for your profile to go for the interviews. With that, guys, if you have any more questions, you can always reach out to me. We are a bit overboard the time. It was a pleasure being here. You are a very lovely audience. Pallavi, you can reach out to me and we can talk about it. It's hard, but there are companies, create a LinkedIn profile, and it's always possible. So you can explore it. I'll help you with that. No issues. No, it's not must to have a certification, but it would be good to have a Trailhead profile. Guys, mark my words, it would be good to have a Trailhead profile, but not a certification. Trailhead profile will mean that you are interested in Salesforce. You are doing certain batches. You know, you are doing trail mixes because the person who is hiring you is gonna look at your Trailhead profile. And now I want to also introduce a new feature. If you guys create a Trailhead profile, there is also an option to get hired. So people can also hire you from your Trailhead profile as well. Don't do certifications if you are a fresher. Just go to a trailhead, explore it, do trails, blaze your trails, and you know, I'll help you out with the further processes. You can find an option to there to get hired as well. Simply, even Trailhead is offering hirings now, so go for it, explore it. Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you, Mayur. I think John, Naman, we are good.
Yeah, we are definitely good. Just before wrapping, can I just add one more thing?
Sure.
Yep. So basically, I have pursued the Salesforce certification for as a BA and been working into the same environment since last 5 years. Still, in a first attempt, I got failed because of the user stories percentage are 35, and apart from that user stories I got 75 plus percentage on different sections. So the motive of sharing this failure is among you guys is the issue which I have been into my preparation. I thought that the preparation should not be like this thing I know, but this has to be more practical way, because BA exam is more theoretical. This is not a practical which you have to provide a demo for. So think about the best way to prepare yourself in a theoretical manner as well. That is the motive of sharing this failure amongst you. Yeah. Am I right, Gaurav? Because the
Yeah, yeah,
exam is more
completely. Even
theoretical.
I failed my first attempt, so,
Right.
so it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You guys can approach it, and if you need any help with that as well, you can reach out to me. Happy to help you guys as well.
But thank you so much, Gaurav. Really amazing session, and really thank you so much for having this.
Even Lakshmi can relate with us. I passed in my second attempt. Now we know like how to encounter the exams. That's great.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Gaurav, for the great session. Thank you.
Thank you, Namanan. Thank you, John. Thank you, Lakshmi, being part of this. Thanks for the platform as well, and thanks to our lovely audience. See you all the next time, and happy holidays, guys. Happy New Year. Have a great year ahead.